Uh, just a second. Hello, hello, everyone. Hello. Just give me a second. Okay. Hello, hello, everyone. It's so nice to be with all of you again. Hello, Ray Nation. I believe all of you are doing great, doing fabulous. As I said, is amazing to be on this training to share some of good knowledge, something that I believe that everybody can use for their business in the best way possible. So I just want to invite you to, just sit in something very comfortable and let's get started. So my name is Marina Mursic and I'm double black in diamond. I would just like to apologize for Boris because he is on the trip to Barcelona. So today I am going to be all alone with all of you. So I am excited. So let's get started. So today I decided to talk about something that I believe that everyone can benefit from a lot. And this is going to be 5 rules to follow if you want to be successful, not only in this business, but in any business or any area in your life. So, because Boris and I, many times people ask us, what are the secrets to success in our business? And now I'm going to share with you 5 rules that we have been following for the past few years, and this is something unique, and this is something that really helped me and Boris personally. So I believe and I hope that you can benefit from this as well. So the rule number 1 is create your vision. Vision must be clear. If you don't have vision, you don't have goal. And if you don't have a goal, you are wasting your time. Find your vision, your passion, the rest will come. All of you probably heard of George Washington, and George Washington said something, something really smart and something really deep. He said, where there is no vision, there is no hope. And that is so true. And it's not just about the vision, it's also about imagination, because to have a great vision, you need to be capable, to imagine things. And I'm going to talk about this. So imagination can do anything. And my imagination, your imagination is your secret weapon in this business. What Boris and I have been doing for the past few years, and something that I'm always, looking forward to, is at the end of each year, every year, we are working on our vision board, and I'm always excited about it because vision board, if you don't know what that is, you can go on Google and you can find even some good examples how to do it. But the vision board, what is the point about vision board? When we are creating vision board, we are focusing on 5 different areas in our lives. It's about the business, relationships, health, spirituality, etc. So we are focusing on different areas. So you will go and you will find the pictures, or you can just print something that really you want to achieve, something that you want to have in your life. And we always this is also connected with your goals. So there are short-term goals and long-term goals. And what we will do, we will put different pictures of what we want from our relationship, family relationship, what we want from our business. And what is really interesting is that when before we start working on a new vision board, we go through the old one. So those things that we didn't achieve, we will just put them on a vision board for the next year. But what is really also interesting is that whenever we look at what we have achieved, in the whole year is really amazing. You can really see how much you can do, because what is the point of vision board is, when I mentioned imagination, you need to be like capable. You need to be able to have your imagination like going wild. So and when we are doing this, what you are actually doing, you are putting those pictures in your mind. Okay, and this is really important, because how our brains work, our brain actually doesn't know the difference between the reality and between something that is not real yet. So that is what we are working on. And what also Albert Einstein said is that logic will get you from A to B, but imagination will take you everywhere. And that is so, so true. So before you even start to work on your vision board, it's good that you think about what you really want, about short-term goals, long-term goals, because if you don't have a goal, you are actually wasting your time. Let me give you an example. Let's say you sit in the taxi and you don't know where you want to go. So the taxi driver cannot take you anywhere, and you will just stay there at the same place. You will not move. And that is why it's so important to have those goals. And this is not just, just blah, blah, but is the true thing, is the true thing. And the goals need to be smart goals. So what do I mean by smart goals? I mean, these goals need to be specific, measurable, attainable, realistic, and they need to have like time. So you need to say, I'm going to give you an example. Let's say if I ask you, what are your goals? And you say, oh, my goal is, to be very successful in the business. My goal is, to earn a lot of money. Those are not goals, because they are not clear and they are not specific. So if you are using the words like this, you don't know what exactly you want to achieve. So you need to be specific. For example, I want to help 100 families, by the end of this year, or I want to earn 20,000 euros every single week. Those are clear goals. You need to be very specific. And what I always say is, you should not forget that you have eyes and you have your ears. So the ear gate, is enrolled to your heart, and your eye gate is enrolled to your heart. So be very, very careful about what you are hearing, what you are seeing, and what you are touching. Hello. So once again, be very careful about what you're seeing, what you are listening to, and who you are listening to, and what you are touching. So that is why it's so, so important, to work on your goals, your imagination, and your vision. I remember, like, maybe 6 years ago, if somebody would ask me, oh, Marina, what are your goals? I would just say, why are you asking me the things like this? And because people have a problem, majority of people, they have a problem. They are afraid to think big. They're afraid to have big dreams. And and I what I always like to say is that, our children are our best teachers. Because when you think, of small children, when they start to learn how to walk, they're so relentless, they're so stubborn about their goals. When they start learning how to walk, they might fall, but they will always pick themselves up. They will never give up, because they have a goal. And because they're so relentless, they will, achieve that. I mean, they will start walking sooner or later. And that is what I think we as people should not forget about. Because when we, grow old, when we are, when we become adults, we forget about that things. And you need to know that, thoughts become things. But it's not just only like what you're hearing, what you're listening to, and what you're visualizing, because is also you need to do something from your side. I'm talking about the action. I cannot just say, okay, I'm going to just, like sit in my chair and I'm just going to like visualize, and I'm going to imagine what I really want to achieve, and then it's just a matter of time when I'm going to see that new Audi icon in my garage, for example. So you need to do something as well. You need to put some action into it, but it all starts with your vision, and your vision must be clear. And there is also one saying that I love a lot, that is saying that if your goals don't scare you, they are not big enough. And that is so, so, so true. So find your vision, find your passion, and the rest will come. And that is really is the truth. Because when you find your vision, you will find your passion, but you cannot say, okay, now I started with a new project and I'm so passionate about my business. No, if somebody says this, they don't have a clue, because passion always comes with success, but success comes from the vision. So the passion always starts with success. When we start experiencing some success in our business, then we start to feel passionate about it. And it's really true. When you have your why, the how will come. So don't forget about it. This is the rule number one. The rule number two: if you think small, you only achieve small things. You need to think big. So don't be afraid of it, and be the best version of yourself. So what I'm going to say is, like, when you think big from the very, very beginning, you are going to see, the business that you are doing, the whole business, in a completely different way. And you actually allow yourself to have bigger dreams, and you feel more professional. So if you just think like, okay, I'm just too small to do the things, then you will never achieve those big things. When you dream big, then then your goals are bigger, and then also you are going to achieve bigger things and much quicker. So now, why think big? I'm going to give you 6 reasons why you need to think big. First one: thinking big gives you motivation and the drive. So thinking big gives you motivation and drive. So now, for example, if you're from Europe, like myself, and you say, okay, I want to travel to Germany, I want to travel to Switzerland or to Netherlands or to Sweden, inside of Europe, that is not like really something that would drive you. For me, I would say, you need to have, you need to say, okay, I want to maybe, travel out of Europe. I want to travel to Asia. I want to see Africa. So that is something that can really drive you much more. Then number two is, thinking big attracts the right people and opportunities. And that is really true. So when you are talking with people that don't have any goals in their life, people that have maybe even very, very small goals, how would you feel, when with them, when you're spending time with them? Probably completely different in comparison, when you're spending time with people who have big dreams and big goals. So when you are thinking big, you need to know that you're on completely different frequency. And that is why you are going to attract people who have big dreams to your life as well. And you are going to attract big, great opportunities to you as well. So thinking big matters. Then thinking big, this is the number three, okay? Thinking big allows you to grow. Why? If I am thinking small, I will never achieve big things. But if you are thinking big, when your goals are so big, that you just, when you think about your goals, you just, become excited. Believe me, it will be much easier for you to leave your comfort zone. And it's not always easy to leave your comfort zone. Sometimes it's even scary, to do the things that you have never done before. But when when you are thinking bigger, when your goals are much bigger, then it will be much easier to leave your comfort zone. Then number 4 is thinking big is the way to live to your fullest potential. Why? Because if you're thinking small, you are limiting yourself. You are limiting your potential. Because how could you know how far you can go, how much you can achieve, how successful you can be, how much you can earn in this business, how many people you can help if you are limiting yourself? So think big. Always set bigger goals for yourself. Like, goals need to be so big that they will scare you. Then you know that you are on the right way. The number 5 is, why think small when you can think big? And it's true, because you will not put any, you don't have you don't have to put more efforts in to just to think big. Even if you're thinking big or small, you will spend the same amount of time just thinking about it. But the only difference will be that when you are thinking small, you will limit yourself. You will not develop yourself as much as you would, to develop yourself, your personality, when you would be thinking big. And number six, now we are on number 6, is thinking big requires similar effort as when you think small. So what people think usually is they think, okay, if I'll be thinking big, then I will need to put much more efforts into everything. And it's not true, because thinking big doesn't have anything to do with the efforts. And as I said before, you will spend the same amount of time, the same amount of energy, into thinking big or thinking small. So why not thinking big? And then, of course, what is also important is that you need to crush your limiting beliefs to become the best version of yourself. You need to crush your limiting beliefs to become the best version of yourself. Remember what drives your decisions. And the key to becoming the best version of yourself, there are 2 things. Those are your values and your standards. Your values make you the person who you are, but your standards, they define what you are willing to accept in your life. So standards and your values. Are you going to accept, being anything less than your authentic and incredible yourself? Be the best version of yourself. Then there is a rule number 3. Ignore people who are telling you that this doesn't work, and don't be disappointed when the people you love don't see things like you do. You'll meet people who will say that this won't work and that this is bad, that this is illegal, etc. So we are all used to it, right? But you need to know that leadership, development, and personal growth go hand in hand. And as you grow and you develop yourself as a person, you can also become a more capable leader. What was really a big game changer for me in my business was when I realized that the first and the most important person that I need to learn to, lead is myself. Because if you don't know how to lead yourself, how are you going to lead other people in your organization? Let me give you an example. So if I, for example, I could put like 1,000 people under you in your organization, but at the end, I'm not going to do anything. I mean, you're not going to do anything if you don't develop yourself as a leader, because those people, they need leadership, they need trainings, they need motivation. So that is why you need to develop yourself as a leader first, to lead other people so you can make them leaders as well. And I could also hand you, for example, 50 people, 50 personal recruits every month. But if you don't have the necessary leadership skills, then it's just a question, it's a matter of time when these people are going to quit, because again, they need leadership, they need trainings, they need guidance, they need motivation, they need support, they need you. And you, of course, will meet people who will say that this won't work, that this is bad, that this is illegal. Don't take it personally. You need to know that when people, are saying this, they are actually, those are their limiting beliefs about themselves, not about you. Because people, they're just, people that don't have big goals, that don't just, they're just skeptical about everything. And I don't even, I don't even expect, from people who don't have goals, who don't have vision in their life. I don't expect from them that they will say, wow, you have such a great business, wow, you have such a great lifestyle, wow, you're so successful. I don't, because this is just something that doesn't exist in their vision board, or in just, it doesn't exist with them. So remember that you need to develop yourself, you need to develop your personality, and just, follow your goals and keep working on yourself. Then there's a rule number 4: give it all you've got, find 1,000 reasons why, no pain, no gain. So what I'm going to say here is, we always have like 2 options. So the first option is, you can always find 1,000 reasons or even million reasons why not to do something. Oh, I have small kids. Oh, I can't, I'm a housewife. I have so much work. Oh, I don't have a car. Well, I don't know how to sell. But those are just the reasons why not to start something. Why wouldn't you, turn it all around and say, oh, I'm going to do this because I'm going to do this because of my kids. I'm going to do this because I want to provide them a better lifestyle. Oh, I'm going to do this because I want to buy myself I want to buy myself a car. So you can always find 1,000 reasons why not to do something, or the opposite, why you should do something. And now I'm going to share with you 2 stories, just to actually, I'm going to share a message through these 2 stories with all of you. And the first story is talking about one man who was taking a walk every single morning. So every single morning he would go to the forest, and when he was walking one morning, he looked at the tree, and he saw there was something, there was a cocoon, and it was moving, and there was something inside that was trying to come out of this cocoon. And this man looked at this cocoon, and then he just continued with walking. And then the next morning, when he went to the same forest again, he again saw that cocoon. So again, this cocoon was, moving, and there was something inside that tried, to come out. And this man, felt sorry, for this thing. So what he did, he went to his house and he took scissors. He came back and he made a small hole in this cocoon. He wanted to try, this thing that was inside, to come out. And what happened? When this thing came out of this cocoon, he noticed this was something that had very big, body, but very but very small. uh, how should I forgot the word, sorry. But So it was actually a butterfly. And what he did is he wanted to try, this butterfly, but what he did the opposite, because this butterfly was not strong enough. When of course when he would leave the cocoon, then he would be strong enough to even fly. But this he didn't help this butterfly, because butterfly was not ready to fly. So it's the same with us in this business. Everything in life, is a process. Everything in life is a process. And this butterfly, the same as this butterfly was not ready to fly, is the same with, some of our, team members, with some of, people in our organization, when we are trying to do so many things for them. This was actually one of the mistakes that I was doing at the very beginning in my business, when I tried to do everything for my team members, and I was just so busy. I was so busy that I was actually not working on the things I should work, really on the things that really mattered. So I'm not saying that you should not help your team members. Of course, you will help them, you will guide them, you will motivate them, and provide the trainings and everything. But you need to know that every single person has their own path, that they need to do the work themselves as well. So that is why we say, I will help you build your business. So I will help, but you build your business. And then the second story is actually a real story. Is about one man. I don't remember his name, but it doesn't even matter. So there was one man in United States, and he was something over 30 years old. So he was 30 plus, and he was struggling with his weight since he was 18 years old. And he tried with the first diet, and he failed. Then he tried with the second diet, and again he failed. He tried with the third diet, and he failed. And then he tried with the fourth diet, and he failed. And then, just he just said to himself, okay, I cannot lose any weight. I'm just probably going to stay as I am. So he accepted this. But later, when he got married, and he got a child, and he was going with his wife one day to to see, to watch like their small girl. I think she was 10 years old, and she was dancing, so she was performing. And they went there, and then in the middle of this performance, his little girl, she was 10 years old, she just collapsed. And they rushed into the hospital, and he was all nervous, what is happening with my daughter. And then when the doctor came, he was all pale, and this man's heart just started to beat so fast. And the doctor told him that his daughter's kidneys are not functioning well. And then what happened is they took the blood samples from both parents. And when the doctor came back, he said that the only option that they have is, the dad donates his kidney to his little girl. But the only condition was he would need to lose weight in the next 4 to 6 months. He would need to lose 80 kilos. And what happened is, what do you think it really happened? This guy, he lost the weight. So what is the point of this story? What is the message of this story? Is, when we have our why, the how will come. So when you really, really want to, achieve something, do something, you are going to do it. But if you really know, and when you have a cause, when you have a reason, And that is why, it's so important that you have your why. What I was even doing when I started this business, because I have someone that really means a lot to me. And what I did is I connected my goals, my vision, with this person. So you can also do the same, whenever you feel, you're stuck, whenever you feel not, you just like stopping, whenever you feel like quitting, just think of that person, because it's easier, it's easier to just, stop with whatever you're doing, just and maybe stop because of yourself. But it's not easy to stop with whatever you're doing, if this is also connected, with the person that you really care about. This can be your mother, this can be your sister, it can be your children, so it's easier to quit on yourself, but it's much harder to quit on something because of, because you're thinking about others. So connect your why with one person, that really means a lot to you. And then there is a rule, number 5, is which is do good and share and change lives. Now, what I'm going to tell you is really, really important. So please just listen. So on your deathbed, it won't matter how much money you have on your bank account, nor it will matter, how much success you achieved in your life. And you will realize that what it really matters is the impact that you have made on other people's lives. Each one of us on this call, yes, we have our own path in our life and in our business. But the beauty of everything is that, at the funeral, nobody's going to talk about your money, about your success, or about your business. And everyone will talk about how you blessed other people's lives. Everybody will talk about how much you loved. Everybody will talk about, how much you helped other people, how much you helped them to build their personalities, how much you helped them to become courageous. Don't get me wrong, success is important, but even more important than success itself is the impact that you are going to make on other people. That because you once lived, you helped this world to become a better place to live. And that because you once lived, you helped other people to become better people. Because remember, this impact is the most important currency on entire world. Life is like a mirror. Life doesn't give us what we want. Life gives us what we need, and life gives us what we are. So success will come to you when you build yourself and your personality. When you were born, people around you rejoiced and you cried. So make your life such that when you die, people around you will cry and you will rejoice. And now I would like to invite you all, to just be a part of our story, of my story and Boris' story. And I'm going to share with you one video. This is a project that we have worked on 1 year ago. And I hope that you will find some inspiration and motivation from it. So enjoy. Hi, my name is Marina Mursic and I'm from Slovenia.
Hello, my name is Boris Lupsina and I am from Slovenia.
I was born in Croatia in a small town called Čapuje.
I was born in a small village with only 150 citizens.
So I was born in a family of 3 children and I was the oldest one. I remember how my parents were always reminding me to be an example to my younger siblings. But when I was 17 years old, my parents got divorced, which was a big shock for me. I remember my mother, she got a second job. So she was also working over the weekends because she wanted to provide as much as possible for all 3 of us, for her children.
I was born in a poor family, but there was always food on the table. Myself, my older sister, my parents, and my grandparents, we all lived in a small family house. I remember I never had any new clothes or toys. I always got some clothes or toys from my cousin. Whenever I asked for a small car toys, my parents always said, "Oh, we will buy this next time," but there was never next time. When I was only 16 years old, my mother died. And that is when I needed to grow up fast.
My story actually started 8+ years ago. It was after I finished my studies. I was trying to find a job that would really fit me, but I was not very successful at it. So what happened, I remember I was speaking with my father one day and he said, "Marina, why wouldn't you move to Switzerland? Because I mean, the salaries are better here. You can live a better lifestyle." So I moved to Switzerland. I applied for a job. I got my dream job. I was working in a hotel and I was really enjoying, but what happened is later on I was promoted and I found myself working 12 to 14 hours per day, 5 days a week. Then later it was 6 days a week. I didn't have any vacation or holidays, nothing. And since I'm a social butterfly, but I did not have any time for my family, for my friends, and I just kind of felt depressed. I remember one day I was talking with somebody on Facebook who told me that we should sit down for a coffee whenever I'll be back to Slovenia. And I believe in a law of attraction. We sat down with this guy. He told me about this network marketing industry, and I must admit I did not get the concept. I did not understand what network marketing really means. But after I attended the first seminar, that day everything changed for me. And I always say that there is a life before going to that seminar and a life after going to that seminar.
I was working on the gas station. It was a 9 to 5 job. No holidays, no freedom. I wanted to have freedom and spending time with friends and family whenever I want, not missing birthday or holiday.
This business has opened my eyes in so many ways. It has already given me so much personal growth, and knowing I can work and build my business around my other commitments and being a mommy gives me so much positivity for the future. Being able to show my little sky Lila that anything is possible with hard work and determination so that she can chase her dream, whatever that may be, one day as well. And of course, the biggest benefit for Boris and me is just being able to work from the comfort of your home while being a full-time mommy, a full-time daddy, and just seeing our little baby girl growing up. This is really priceless. Once you get a child, you really can see how fast the time runs, and we just want to spend as much time as possible with our child, and of course being able to help as many people as possible around the world to show them it is possible to live the life like this.
Okay, yes, I fell 3 times in last 5 years, and I go from zero to hero.
And of course, there were many, many times when I just felt like giving up. But because I clearly knew what I want and why I need to do it, I never quit it. I just knew I need to continue with what I'm doing and that I'm eventually going to make it. Wow! Ask us where we did not try. So thank you so much for watching, and I hope you enjoyed this video. Now for the end, I'm just going to finish with something. This is a small extra, and it's just to give you, I want to show you that every one of you, each person that is on this call, can achieve whatever you put your mind to, whatever. And the only proof that you can really do that is your hand, your left or your right hand, because if you have 5 fingers, if you have 5 fingers on your hand, then you can achieve whatever you want to achieve in your life. And I'm going to show you why. Because you have a thumb, right? So a thumb is showing what? It will be all okay. So always remember, no matter what people tell you, no matter how negative people around you are, whatever they think about everything, always remember that you are on the right way. Always remember that everything will be okay. Just continue with whatever you're doing. And then the second one is the index finger. The index finger is representing your direction and your focus and your goals. You should have goals, short-term goals and long-term goals. Remember that. Then I'm going to just skip this one. Then we have this one, the ring. The ring finger. So what is the ring finger representing is the loyalty, because this is the ring, the finger where we get the wedding ring. And remember loyalty. Be loyal to your customers, be loyal to your team, be loyal to this company, be loyal to your products, be loyal to your business, to whatever you are doing. And just give it 3 to 6 years and you will see amazing results. Then we have a little finger. A little finger is representing details. And why am I saying all this is because sometimes, you will say, okay, I'm not going to this training because I don't understand English. I'm not going to this training or to this Zoom because I heard it so many times. I'm not going to this session I'm just going to skip the next meeting or whatsoever. Details in this business matter. Details really matter. I can't even tell you how many times I went to listen one and the same presentation, but I always showed up. You always need to show up. If you will show up, then your team is going to show up. And then the middle finger, this is the finger that some of you are going to use most often. And this finger is representing the next thing. So when you have people that are really, talking about everything, they're smart about your business, they know everything about pyramid schemes or whatsoever, just hide, this hand behind your back and think, just think, about, what so just is important, that you keep this for yourself, this opinion about everything. So don't forget about your 5 fingers. So the first one, everything will be okay. You need to have your goals, you need to have direction. Then this one, okay, just whenever people piss you off, whenever you don't think the same, like people around you, when they don't have the same opinion, just keep just keep this opinion for yourself and don't say anything. Just just move on, move to the next person. Then the loyalty, be loyal to your business, be loyal to your products, and be loyal to your people. And then this is the details. Pay attention to the details. So I hope everybody enjoyed today's presentation. I hope you learned something, and I believe that you learned also something. At least you got one information that is going to help you build your business and to achieve your success. So thank you so much. I wish you all an amazing day, and thank you for being with us here today. And thank you. Bye bye.